everyone, it's Desiree, and yes, day 3, Spellbinders. What could be better? Woo. So this is the large die of the month for April, and it is called Say Cheese, which I think is absolutely adorable. And I'm going to combine this with their embossing folder for April, and that is called Radiant Burst. And it is similar to what you saw yesterday with the Glimmer Burst. It has that same look, except of course it's in an embossing folder. Just saying. Okay, but it looks the same. One is foiled though, one's got texture. So we're going to start off by building our camera. And one thing I think we all can agree when it comes to Spellbinders and their dies, they think of everything when it comes to their dies. So this is a camera, of course, you know, say cheese. And we've got the base, we've got the color for the bottom, we've got the little tiny clips for the side so that the string can come down, and that's what I'm putting in now. So I created my camera with a gray, black, and a purple vibe. I was really in a purple vibe after I did the glimmer. I mean, you'll see throughout the month. Excuse me, there was all kinds of purple going on here, but that's okay. I just love, you know, black, gray, purple, pulled in a little bit of lavender as well. And not only do they have the straps coming across each side, but they also have, you know, the buttons and the knobs that sit on top of the card, and those are what I'm placing in now. I chose the smile sentiment for the front. I mean, yeah, you know, smile, say cheese. Yeah, I know, it's a little corny. I got it. But I just thought it was cute. And when it came to the highlights for the camera, you know, the shutter in the center, the eye view at the top, and then even the sentiment, the background, I chose a holographic cardstock just to, you know, just give a little bit of interest, because we're going to have a lot of colors going on this when it comes to this card. After I had cut the 2 circles, I realized I didn't have the base and I wasn't going to die cut anymore. So I just stuck this on a piece of black cardstock and cut around it. And then I'll put some shimmer on that spot as well. I've propped up the base. So I've got that circle, the shutter. So that I'm going to prop up, and I use double-sided foam squares for that. And then I'm also going to prop this up as well onto the camera base. Again, we've got a lot of dimension going on. And I'm also propping up the camera, the entire image of that camera as well. And there are reasons. One, I love dimension. I love layers on cards. I know it adds more to shipping, but I figured I did that anyway with this because this is going to be a 6x6 card, and I'm using a 6x6 card base. So here is our embossing folder. I spritzed it lightly with some water. We don't want it dripping. We want a light mist. And I'm going to use that embossing folder and one of my cutting plates. And I like to go back and forth a couple times, maybe a third, just to make sure I have that impression. You'll actually feel the pressure lighten up as you continue to go back. And I spritz it so that my cardstock won't crack. Because you're breaking those fibers in a folder, whether it's a regular folder or a 3D folder. You are breaking those fibers, and paper wants to rip and it wants to tear. So by softening it just a little bit with a light mist, we're talking 1, maybe 2 spritzes, or 1 on each side, and it just helps those fibers to say, okay, I can bend. Get it? I can bend. All right. I had a lot of coffee today, guys, so I do apologize. But yes, I do like to gab, and lots of people don't like me gabbing, but oh well. I'm going to take my panel. I did cut this down, and I cut this down to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'm placing it on a black 6x6 mat, and then that's going to sit onto our card front. I'm going to use my 2-inch double-sided film tape by Uline. This is an extremely strong tape. It's just not for getting. Once it touches paper, boy, it's down. It ain't going anywhere. But I wanted to use this on the back because I did spritz that cardstock and it did warp a little bit. This tape will flatten anything out. I've used it on watercolor panels, watercolor background panels, ink blended panels that I spritzed heavily with water, and it just flattens them right out once they're dry. But it just flattens them right out. So I've put my double-sided foam tape on the back, and that is going to sit in the center so that those, the radiant burst, of which it's called, will come out from underneath. Now we're going to have some fun with our flowers, because this die also comes with some beautiful florals, and you layer them. So these here have 3 layers. So I chose a darker cardstock, or a lighter cardstock for the background, and a darker for the front for the yellow ones. And then this leafy piece sits on top of it. So you have the polka dots coming through the back and the leaves on the front. For the purples, I chose a darker cardstock for the background, and then a lighter for the front, and then just a lighter shade even yet for the loopy petals. These are technical terms, people. Yep, these are very technical. These flowers here didn't have any layering, so I'm just setting those up, the aqua ones. These here are 2 layered, and I chose 2 colors that were very close together from my scraps, and I'm just layering those up. Again, those 2 different colors will just give some layer or some dimension and texture, and you can see they fit perfectly together when you layer them up. So getting the flowers together, very snappy. We got lots of greens going on, and with the loopy petals, I'm adding this little tiny piece underneath just in case it should be seen, because you all know what's coming next. I am going to be collaging a boatload of florals and greens, and we are going to have those coming out from one corner and then another one, because again, I like movement, and that just creates that movement. So I'm using my Beacon Kids Choice glue. I love this glue when I'm doing this technique because I've already got the camera set, and now I'm going to be tucking and poking and just layering things together. And this glue is perfect. It grabs immediately. It's a nice thick glue. And it's actually, as I said, it's called Beacon's Kids Choice glue. It has definitely become my favorite when it comes to this type of technique. I cut all of these greens out of 2 different shades, a lighter green and a darker green, as you can see. So I'm just layering the longer stems up first, making sure and keeping my fingers crossed that I don't have a foam square stuck there. But if I do, I will just cut down the leaves. So now I have the trail, the base down. Now we're just going to start filling in with our flowers. Some of them are going to have some foam squares, some of them are not. So it all depends on how we're going to put these together. For those that are not going to have a foam square, I am going to use the Beacon's glue to set those in place. It's an instant grab. But what I will say is, if let's say I want to shift something, I can move it and wiggle it around. But it just, when you place it down, it just stays there. I can't explain it, but that's what I absolutely love about it. I'm just going to use these aqua flowers as fillers when it comes to some of the areas that we're looking to put our flowers, just to add that even more pop of color. And again, we're just having fun. I'm making sure that I have a balance of the flowers, meaning I have a purple loopy one down on the bottom, I have a purple loopy one up at the top, I have a yellow one at the bottom and the top. I'm going to only show 3 of what I'm going to call those poppies, because again, they are so vibrant that I've got to have an odd number of them. Even if you look at the aquas, I've got an odd number of them. So it's only those loopy ones that I have an even one, but I needed to make sure that they were scattered. What helps me, and you say, well, do you have the even ones? So you do evens. No. If you look at each cluster in the upper right and the bottom left, there's only 5 flowers. So that's how I can negate that whole concept. Ha! Yeah, way too much coffee. Yes. Way too much. But I really enjoyed this. I do love collaging. I love layering things. I do love die cutting and just what you can do with a die cut. You can do so much with it. Give it so much personality and dimension just by simply layering it and having fun with it. Always know, I always cut more than what I need, and those go into a pot. And there is going to be a video at some point this year where I am going to pull that pot out and we are going to create some cards. So here is our project today, featuring the large die and the embossing folder from Spellbinders for April. As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's project. I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope I gave you some ideas. As always, all the links to all of their clubs that they have available and all of the deals that they have will be linked down below, along with their blog for even more inspiration in their gallery. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below, and I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy and smile. Enjoy each day and enjoy each time that you create your art. If you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe, so make sure you hit that button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up too, because if you enjoyed this, hopefully maybe somebody else would. You never know. But always remember what's most important for me. Always. Be creative, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.